And to the September 5th meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. We started in non-public session at 6 o'clock with a couple of our officers, and then we went to interview a potential highway candidate, and that brings us to 6:53-ish, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There it is. All right, public comment. Once, twice sold, good. Okay. DPW update. That was quick.
Give you the update first or Scott first?
You got anything pressing?
Nope.
Okay, good. Have a seat.
Get your answer.
Have a seat and get briefed, just
All
like
right.
us.
Well, it's been a while since I've seen all of you, so.
Yeah, who are you again?
Yeah. So, as most of you know, I'd gone on vacation, and while I was gone, I had two pretty good-sized projects, kept the crew busy while I was gone, and Joe took up the slack in between, did a great job. Anything that came in, he got done. So, the projects we done this year, I'll start with the road reconstruction, completely tearing up the roads and graveling and putting back to where they were. We reclaimed Lowell Road, Maplewold Road, Orchard Path Road, Wallingford Terrace Road. In addition, I just dug up the steepest part of the hill on Walker Hill. That part I've been saying I'm going to do. So we did it finally. That's about 12,000 feet of road, 2.25 miles we've got tore up right now, and it'll be all gravelled tomorrow. It'll be done, so I can put a fine grade on it and ready for pavement when the pavers show up. So I think that's pretty good. You know, we're always short-handed in the summer. Amount we do, we certainly are understaffed usually, so I'm pretty proud of the guys for getting all that done. It's the only time we can take vacation, so working with half a crew doing 2.25 miles of road on top of everything else that we do is pretty amazing, I think. Part of the resurface, the bond money, we have paved 10 roads so far. We've done 2 pieces of Reservoir Drive, the first 1,700 feet from 114 to past John Connor, where we started to stop before, and then up around Brown Hill onto the Deeringtown line. So now within the last 3 years, we've completely resurfaced that road, which in my mind, when I think of commuter roads, it's probably in the top 3 or 4. Yeah, River Road and Google Road, Mountain Road. We did Woodbury Road. We did Upper Craney Road, the paved portion only, that was already paved, just a little piece. And Emery Lane. The reason we did them was we paved the reservoir on the way by. They weren't that good a shape anyway. You know, for, I think it was 400 extra tons. We swung right in. The paver was there. You aren't going to get it done for $65 a ton any other time. So we did Flanders Memorial from Holly Hill to here. While we were here, we swooped in your parking lot, a couple passes, and tried to fix out back where I ruined 2 snowplows last winter. We did Thorndike Road from Quaker Street to Hodgdon Road. One question I've been getting asked, why didn't you do the other piece? Well, because it needs to be reclaimed and graded.
Yeah.
You know, overlay wouldn't fix that. So.
Yeah, overlay looked like it does now next year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And I want to get it done. I think that would be an easy one because I'm guesstimating there's gravel under there since it's benched out of the side of a gravel pit. But at any rate, that's why that little piece isn't done. We did Rockland Road and that north end of River Road. Those roads are both a dozen years old or so with really good bases under them. So that was the idea behind us resurfacing. And we did Peasley Hill Road. So we tried to put shifts together so they could put at least 1,000 ton a day out. That's how we got the price.
The rate.
And then, I think I mentioned them all. I had them listed and I had to rattle them off my head, but yeah. So, we're probably gonna do one more shift this fall and then probably call it quits. We gotta get shoulders on them all and all that stuff, so. In addition to the overlaying that came out of the bond money, we chip sealed 2 streets. One was East Road, well, 3 really, East Road and Carding Mill, and then the other was Quaker Street. They're supposed to do Flanders Memorial and Reservoir Drive, but the pavement got put down a little later than I had anticipated, and they like it to cure a certain amount of time before they put the chip down. So we do have the chip in my pit, and it'll get put down next year. So I did see some questions about the chip. I thought we went over it fairly extensively, I guess. I mean, the bond was to resurface and preserve roads that were worth preserving. And chip coating is the #1 pavement preservation method used in the entire United States. It's not, there's a ton of questions about it, but it's nothing new. It's not something experimental. It's the #1 method in the whole United States.
What is the chip actual material?
Crushed rock down to, I don't know what the size is.
Yeah.
But that's all it is.
Okay.
Just a rock chip. Because if you, the top 3 reasons for your road to deteriorate is water, water, and water. So if you keep it out of your base, this resurfacing is roads that we presume were good, have a decent base. So we're going to presume that we've done all we can do to keep the water out of the base. It's New England, you never keep it all out of the base. But we're going to assume that we've done all we can. So the next thing you do is keep it off the surface. And by doing that, you redefine the surface, you try to fill the cracks, fill the holes, and that's what that chip coat does, is it reseals and gives it a new wearing course. And the traditional chip coat gives it between a 5 and 8 year boost. That fiber mat I did was around at 8 or 10, and then they have a rubber mat that the state uses a lot that's 10 plus. But as a matter of fact, they recommend that over paving on certain roads, but I haven't tried it yet. So because one little crack or one little hole, I didn't get all that information together, but it's tens of thousands of PSI pressure when a car drives over and drives that water down. So if you can keep those dimples out of the road, keep the cracks filled, keep all that stuff, it keeps the potholes from blowing out, you know. So like I said, assuming the base is decent and the definition of the road is in good shape, then we want to preserve the pavement from blowing apart, so I don't have to buy coal patch, which is further down on my list of things to discuss. But since we just mentioned coal patch, you cannot buy that in this state right now. So anybody that has potholes, filled, we can't do it.
Why?
Because they are not making it, and as long as the pavement is booming like it is, they're not going to make it. That's just exactly what it told me. They have to shut a silo down to make cold patch. They're not going to shut a silo down for making hot top for a day just to make cold patch. And I called
When you can fill it with hot, not when you can fill it with hot
and
mix.
so I called and asked, and their answer was, town's buying hot boxes. That was the answer. But anyway, in case anybody's wondering why I'm not cold patching, that's why. And I asked when they're going to start making cold patch, and they said when we're done paving. We'll see. We'll see. But I wanted to bring that up because we don't have any, and they're not making any. And I called Brock's, and I called Pike, and I called Continental, and I called All-State Asphalts. They're not making any. So.
Yeah. What's the cost difference, lane mile from shim and overlay to chip, roughly? Doesn't that be exact?
So an 1.5 overlay for a mile is about $71,000, and a mile of that's 2 miles, the whole road. The chip coat's about 33,000.
So about half.
About half. Well, a little less. 71 to 33. Yeah.
About half. Okay.
So you put on road, don't need to. So Quaker Street is a perfect example. It had a little delamination because top coat didn't stick to the base coat, but it's pretty well defined still. So we crack sealed it and chip coated it. And I'd had Weare brothers. They went up there and they raised the canopy on that street, and they also went and cut the trees that I promised to cut at the cemetery, in front of the cemetery on Thorndike Road. So we hired them for a day and they did that. So that pretty well covers what I've used the bond money for and what our major road construction is. In addition to that, we have, we swept the winter sand off the spring, of course, and we did stay right on pothole patch and road grading. We did our calcium chloride program as we always do. We get the mowing tractor's been out pretty steady. You know, it's nice having it. I had it out and I needed another truck today hauling. I had a guy call out and so I just parked it today. I'm not paying 12 grand, so it doesn't matter. It can sit in the shop today, so that's nice. I'll probably use him tomorrow too. You probably won't run it tomorrow either.
I just, Beth sent us the maintenance reports on
Yep.
all the vehicles. Seems like that one likes to eat clevises and cotter pins.
Oh, it's terrible, that mower head.
So but that's what the abuse is actual consumables.
Yeah, yeah, so it's got these two little knives held on to a bracket by a clevis with a cotter pin that goes through. It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And they fly out. It's not the best designed head I've ever seen. It works good, but it's a kind of a high maintenance and that.
But they're consumables.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna always have them. He comes back missing 4 or 5 every day. It just, they're little, you look at it.
Yeah, they're small.
Maybe someday the tractor works out as well as it seems to have so far. Maybe we can find a different
head.
used head for it,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
It works good, it's just you're gonna buy oodles and oodles of them clevises and pins.
Yeah.
It's just how they're designed.
Well, I see like 3 purchases already for it, and I'm like 60 a piece, really?
Yeah, we
You know,
told, we
six-
told
six-
Dogsland,
quantity
we said, you
60.
better keep them piled right on the shelf, because it chews them right up.
Yeah.
So.
But if it seems to be working and you know
The
before.
problem is we haven't done a good job in 10 years of mowing brush.
Right.
And that head is made to mow brush this big around.
Yeah.
That's why it's got that wheel on it. You set it right down, you drive ahead with it. Well, that's not the brush we're dealing with.
We're
It's
dealing
gonna
with-
look a little messy this year too, but we ever get that first round around, then we'll be good.
Yeah.
Then that head would have been fine, but you're gnawing on oak trees that big around, just slams the piss out of them knives, and ain't nothing to do about it,
Yeah.
so. But we gotta do it, I mean,
Yeah, no,
when I drive around, that's got to be my #1 gripe when I'm looking. I can't help it when I'm driving, even when I go out west, I gotta look at road things, and my #1 gripe around here, just see, I hate that brush hanging out in front of signs on intersections, I can't stand it. It makes me happy seeing it get mowed, but we've got a long ways to get ahead of it.
Yeah, we do.
So we've done lots of mowing, grading, calcium, we clean culverts with the backhoe when I have time. We painted the lines on East Road, we painted a crosswalk and put up signs for the library, they wanted a crosswalk for the kids. And made the pad for the gazebo, we started to make winter sand, we had our gravel crushed this year. I haven't heard from the guy in the last couple of weeks, but he's been working on the permits for the bamboo, so that'll be getting underway. I expect a busy phone on that, but again, it's something new that people are gonna have to get used to, and I think I'm hoping that it's gonna be short term. I'm hoping a few years and it'll go away. We'll stop spreading it, and
Yeah.
that's the hope. So I'm hoping it's not gonna be a forever thing. You know, we didn't reclaim these roads either, by the way, until the middle of July. We had mud season until June, so, you know, they haven't only been tore up a couple months. You always get phone calls, geez, they've been tore up all year. You know, I got the bill that, right here, that says it was July 13th or whatever it was. You know, we always have to keep in compliance with the, you know, the fuel pumps, that testing's coming up. We have to take care of the water testing, the landfill monitoring, the sewer station. We tried to help everybody else out this summer when we can. We've went and hauled some stuff off to the transfer station for the library a couple different times, cleaned out Clinton Grove, some stuff that they didn't want for the Historical Society, cleaned up some trees for the cemetery. You know, we take care of the detours and the signs and stuff for PD for the parade and Old Home Day. We tried to fix some fences and dugouts for the Parks and Rec that the kids were hanging on and busted off, and the wind blew the dugout right completely upside down, ruined all the rafters. So the guys went over and fixed that, tried to save them some money without hiring a contractor. Cut down the trees of the tennis court and over East Road, that barn that they acquired over there. And that's about what we've done, I guess. I had just 2 things I wanted to bring up for food for thought for you guys for later, but we'll do that whenever. I wanted to ask if you still was thinking about making contractors post a bond on Class 6 roads when they do work. I'd like to see that implemented so we don't have the mess we had last year. And still bothers me, the subdivision regulations, they've narrowed the roads down to 20 feet for certain roads. I don't think a road with one house ought to be 20 feet wide in this town. If you want a good example, a road that deteriorates from the sides in, drive up Mount Dearborn Road, meet an oil truck on that road or something in the springtime when the shoulders are muddy. At least 22 feet. I know it's already been decided, but I don't know if you guys can call another public hearing or not. Someone thought you could, maybe not. But I did the math, and a 20-foot road would take 1,996 tons asphalt, 3 inches thick. A 22-foot road would take 2,200 tons. You're talking 200 tons difference, and a mile of road should be $13,000. There ain't very many subdivisions even a mile long, so you're talking $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. I don't know why we're gonna let the contractor that's got $1 million+ out for subdivision off the hook for $6,000 for a road to turn over the town later. You know, he ought to eat that cost. I don't care. If he wants to build a road that's good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him stay at 24 feet. I mean, taxpayers shouldn't have to. I don't give a damn. You don't want to build a road right, then don't buy the property and put the houses up. But I'm frustrated that I wasn't asked my opinion about that when I'm the guy that's got to answer for him later. So it's my one last gripe on that, I guess. I would compromise at 22 feet because the comment was made many of our roads are built at 22 feet, and that's a fact. So it is, if it's over a certain number of houses, still going to be 24 feet, so that's fine. But I don't think any road should be less than 22 feet wide. And I don't think having less pavement makes it any more or less rural. I build roads, and I cannot tell a 22-foot wide road from a 24-foot wide road when I drive down the highway, so I don't think anybody else can either. And the first thing they do is they want their dirt roads paved and their dirt driveways paved and basketball courts paved for the kids. I don't think anybody cares about pavement. So I'd like to change that. So if there was any other questions, tried to buzz through it quickly.
There we go.
You know, the crack sealing, just to go, not the crack sealing, I'm sorry, the chip coat, just go back to that. It was mentioned too in town meeting, but there was a lot mentioned, so I don't expect everybody to remember it all, but that included the crack sealing, the sweeping, that was all inclusive. So, just so you know, when you paid that bill, you paid for everything you saw done out there. So. And for some reason it all peeled up the snowplow this winter, it's warranted.
Nice. That's good.
For a year, I think, or something.
I was just trying to download the expenditure sheet that Beth gave us not too long ago. What's your thoughts? We're approaching the season again. Seems like it was just yesterday we were in budget season of our own rig to haul our own stuff from the transfer station.
I always thought it was a good idea.
Okay.
I haven't done that much true homework on it yet.
Okay.
I know what a truck costs. We just got to put together.
We both
Wait,
do.
put it till you got the sport, I guess. I think that my hauling contract's up next year, so
Okay.
we might have to wait for one more term.
Fine.
Where would you have to haul it to, Benji?
Well, and that's the other thing. Everyone's been saying for 10 years Wheelabrator's going to be all done. They're still open, so I don't know. Right now it goes to Pennacook, and the demo goes to Bradford. I would get to the answer to the roll-off containers, because that would come up. I would get rid of all the roll-off containers. I would see what Schnitzer would, I'd have them put their own can in place for the metal. And for tin and aluminum, I just would get some waste blocks and build some big bunkers, and they could take them from their little bunker, put them in the bigger bunkers, and we could haul them in our own 10-wheelers. They'd scoop it out the loader skid steer, and we could haul it to Schnitzer's in our own 10-wheelers. So we would not need a roll-off trailer, and I don't want one. And I have enough A drivers right now, and I have a license. I think it would be beneficial to town. I don't know if we get it pulled off before we sign another contract, because we'd have to get put together here now and get through the voters and get a truck and all that. But it's something worth talking about for sure.
I mean, we're almost $42,000 just in our hauling costs.
Yeah,
I mean, that's almost a person, and if not, a purchase of a truck first year.
we move a lot of material,
Yeah.
you know, and it'd be nice. We're always shorthanded anyway, you know, you'd have that extra person, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. If we went that way. If not, I do have so many A drivers, you know, we got
Right.
plenty.
Right.
And we got, those trailers go at least 2, usually 3 days, so usually you can, it doesn't have to be full be second.
Right.
Demo trailers, paper's the biggest pain in the butt right now, but,
Right.
as far as distance wise.
Yeah, and I knew we had a little more time with our current vendor, which our current vendor's been doing fine. There's no-
Absolutely.
There's no complaints
no
about our vendor at
complaints
all.
about the vendor, no.
Nope, none.
No, just
Always
it was-
attentive, it's a lot of money. I think the
Yeah.
town could bring it back home,
Oh, I do.
so,
I think you pay for a truck in a year.
yeah, I do too, so. All right,
What
Speaking
about,
of trucks, that's what I want to say.
No.
The truck did come in, and it's been in the shop for 2 weeks, which is a month ahead of schedule, so.
Oh, at
Super
Genco?
psyched
Cool.
about that, yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I was supposed to go up this week and visit it, and I just haven't had time. I sent them pictures of the inside of the last truck, and said, just make it like this one. They sent me pictures back, they got the hinges on, the tank on, all the stainless lines are on, the truck itself's all plumbed.
Nice.
I mean, I'm super
They're really
happy.
scooping along, yeah.
Well, they are, because everybody's slow getting their trucks. When they come in, they're gonna be slams. They're
Yeah.
super excited to get mine. McDivitt delivered it for me, and the next day they pulled it in their shop. So
Wow,
Wow.
that's fast.
good, yeah.
That's good.
Super happy about that, so.
Yeah, get it back and get it
Oh,
running.
we'll have it plenty in time. We were gonna have it in time anyway, but this is even better.
Yeah.
I like to run them around a little bit.
Yeah, work the bugs out of them, yeah. Yep.
you asked the question, I was gonna ask about if he been up to saw it, because I know they called us about it, so,
I didn't go see it.
no, I didn't know.
I will. They know what to do. so.
There you go.
Trying to get roads ready for pavement. so.
I got nothing else.
Other than that,
Board members, anything?
No.
Okay, got one more thing to do?
yeah, I'm here to hire a new person. We had a position arise, and I had a guy interested, so how did that work out?
Very well.
Very qualified. Scott, you want to come up here? Scott Triaca, he has plenty of driving experience, and he's interested in come work for us. Starting rate at 1706, after probation 1756, and he can start September 10th. We'd be happy to have him on.
Yeah, we met with Scott just before the public meeting. One quality that I want to really, get after on is the fact that he was, one of his previous employers was a tractor trailer school. So, and he was an instructor there, so I think he'll be a great asset to our department and our town. So I just want to call that out, but again, I appreciate you for, applying. So, I'll make a motion that we hire Scott
Triaca.
Triaca at the rate of $17.06 an hour for the position of truck driver at the DPW. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. You get home
Thank
and
you.
supper.
Yeah. Think we're good with Benji?
Yeah.
Think so, good. Awesome. All right,
You gotta give the paperwork.
yeah, paperwork will be good. Yeah. Revenue discussion with Beth?
Actually,
Or do you wanna do
are you
this?
sitting for a few minutes? Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Oh,
Okay. We'll mix it up a little bit. Recognize Assistant Chief Richards.
so Chief Azina sent an email, which is why Assistant Chief Richards is here. It came late in the afternoon, and there's a couple of things he wanted to do. They're seeking to apply for a DHS AFG program for EMS equipment. It's the application only for authorization. I gave you kind of the background as to what the firefighter program application authorization is looking for. Basically, you can ask him a few more questions. He probably has some information, but they're looking to authorize the fire chief to submit the application for the firefighters grant. There is a 5% matching, so the department would have to come up with an amount not to exceed $7,500. And as noted, the application that he's going to submit would not commit the department or the town to accepting the funds if awarded. It's just to the authority to apply. And he could apply. And I don't know if Bob wants to add anything more.
I guess I'm here to answer questions. If you have any, it's to replace the 2 stretchers and ambulances. It's something that's been put on the capital outlay for, it's a future expenditure of ours. And if this opportunity come up to apply for the grant, our 5% match. If we get it, we get it. And it's nothing new to us. We've been awarded twice before. In 2003, we had $145,000 to replace our air packs. And in 2004 was $35,000 for radio equipment. So this is just, something
Another one.
We've been told no the last few years on some of the things. One of them was the air packs. This last time we was told no. And then the regional grant that we applied for was the same thing. We was also told no. So maybe this time, who knows?
So there's no promise, but it's,
Oh, there's no promise, no.
Right.
No, it's a competitive bid, competitive process. You're judged on your narrative by a group of your peers. They all go down to Emmitsburg and read narratives, and they put this one in here if it looks good, and this one in this pile if it doesn't look good. And then they just keep whittling them down by another group of peers until they finally do the awards.
That's,
This is to
that'll-
replace the striker cots that we have,
We have Furno now. This would be to be put in strike.
but it's the 2 cots to assist in lifting.
Yep, yep.
Okay, which
Yeah,
is
it's
save backs.
It's the full lift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just push it in the truck.
okay.
It depends on how eloquent you get, put the report in.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about what you say.
Any questions?
Oh.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion that we allow the fire chief, Chief Fazina, to apply for the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program. And at that point, that we're not committed to anything, and that's for the striker-type stretchers that go in the ambulance. And that we are not to exceed $7,500, excuse me, in matching funds.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
You abstain.
Thank you. And do you want to talk about the furnace anyway? Does just,
The furnace has to have 3 quotes, so we don't need to talk about that.
okay, so I'll just tell him that. Are you going to
Yep.
respond to him?
I'll reply to him.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Thanks, chief.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wasn't laughing at you.
All right, well, we haven't seen these in a while. But we did pretty good last fall on our estimating for revenues for 2019. We are going to be setting our tax rate next month, so we want to make sure that we get our revenues as close to what we're projecting as possible to offset the expenses of this year. So we'll start with the first section. Increased everything mostly except for the interest and penalties. So for the current use, I increased it a little bit. It's mostly due to the Cortland Ave lots they're selling coming out of current use. Timber yield, little increase this year than I expected. Payments in lieu of taxes, that's from the federal government. It's for Everett Dam. And excavation tax, there was a small increase. The other 3, the motor vehicle permits, vehicle agent fees, and boat registration, those projected increases are from the town clerk. Building permits, I increased it, or I'm projecting an increase of about $70,000, which is $25,000 more than we thought last year we were going to get. The next section is for the licensing and permits. That's also projected from the town clerk. Do you guys have any questions so far? Or something you'd rather see different
No.
than what I'm projecting?
No?
No?
Okay, let me know. The next section is from the state. Those are just, we received the estimates from the state back last October, and now we're getting the final numbers. The large section, which is line 29 through 58, is income from the departments. We estimated about $120,190 coming in, and it's looking at projecting about $124,27. So pretty close to what we estimated last fall. Next section is other charges. Nothing real substantial in there. Again, the town clerk fees were projected by her. Sale of town property, I'm still hopeful that the auction that was voted on at town meeting will bring in the missing revenue that we're missing in that line. Interest on investments, that just went crazy this year. So I did increase that by $7,500 because we've already to date received 22. It's been fabulous. Miscellaneous reimbursement, I increased. We did receive the Primex holiday premium distribution, which goes against our workers' comp and liability. Yeah. We did receive that this year. Anything else interesting? Sewer rents, I increased that to $21,781 because that was 2018's actuals expenditures. So that's what we billed out. And so for our operating budget, we estimated about $3,100,852, and it looks like we're gonna get about $3,167,967. So we did see an increase of $166,000, which was good.
That's good.
The other items were related to warrant articles. We did receive the highway block grant, what it's actually gonna be, and that's a little less than $5,000 more than they thought it was gonna be, so that's great.
Pretty close.
Yep.
Transfer and revenue, we did not need to use the $20,000 from the capital reserve fund for the skid steer, so we will not be receiving that money.
Okay.
Trustees for the cypre, I do expect them to use it. They're working on getting some bids for the stone wall.
Mm-hmm.
I did reduce the forest fund from 30,000 down to 25,000. I don't see them spending all of 30 this year for the contractor in miscellaneous expenses. And also the $150,000 for the purchase of some land. I reduced it down to 25,000 because I don't see anything in the near future that they're looking at. But if something does come up,
It's there.
it'll be there. So is there anything you'd like to see changed? Do you think we're gonna?
No, it looks
No, looks good to me.
pretty spotty.
Pretty
Yeah.
much on.
It's really
Yeah,
close
it's
to what
pretty
we
close, yeah,
estimated at,
yeah.
which was good.
Yeah, which is good. That makes our life a lot easier.
You still have one more chance to change it when we set the tax rate.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just at the last minute though, you
Right.
won't see it.
Yep.
So it looks like our budget is $10,029,000 this year, mostly due to the road bond.
Yep.
So you got $6 million offsetting it, so we're only gonna ask to raise 4, which is great.
Excellent.
Gotta keep those revenues coming in. I have spoken with some departments about revisiting the fee schedule. It's been a long time since we've revisited the fee schedule, and fees haven't changed in many, many years, so we're talking about it, getting some numbers down for you on the public hearing. And I do have something for you to sign.
No. We're out of ink, sorry.
I can take it.
This is just saying we agree. Right?
We
It's just
need
saying
that
what
to-
we agree with what you just told us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A few changes.
There's a lot of trust here. Yeah.
Want to get in line to have your tax rate set. Forms in.
Right.
Still looking at my taxes waived.
Why, because you're not living in it?
Oh, I'm gonna give them to you.
You got stuff on my side of the
Yeah,
line.
about 2 feet on the other side of it.
2 feet's 2 feet.
Rent
And your
space.
fence fell over on my side, so we're even.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know, huh? Speaking of which, I have you show me where that pin is.
Yeah, okay, it's right behind my dumpster, right up
Okay,
there.
all right, because I gotta have him come up and take a look at my yard.
Who's that?
Benji,
Oh,
yeah,
he's gonna come up and look at your yard,
yeah.
but
So I wanna know where the pin is.
was he thinning it out?
No, I'm gonna thin the dirt out.
Yeah,
Any
Right.
questions for me?
you can put it in my hand.
I don't think so, I think we're pretty good. Everything holding our own?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Everything's doing
Yeah, that's what I like to
well.
hear. Department heads haven't spent all their money yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be time now getting salt and everything else.
Is the salt bin
Before
full
it's longer.
currently?
About 75%.
Okay.
Salt sand's about 75%.
Have they already sent out the prices yet?
Sand's about 5%. No.
I know that they got a stockpile's been sitting there all summer, down on the 2 piers.
I got something in June, I didn't, that's usually when they send it out.
Huh.
Can I have the box?
I know, I've lost the trust factor, I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the both,
No, we
both
don't like-
Granite State
we don't like
and
calling you
Mahoney's are
back
both,
in.
But I can tell you right now, I didn't check it.
Oh,
yeah.
Not
just
this
sitting
week.
there.
Yeah.
Nope, not mine.
Not mine.
I'm gonna give you.
oh, you're MS5, 35.
Everything in there.
Yeah.
If you
see
look
you
at that
guys
little
till-
yellow book that comes
I'll
out,
see you guys
it ain't
until-
good.
It ain't pretty.
3 weeks?
Scott's gonna be getting experience.
These other guys are probably hoping, but
Welcome to New England.
Go ahead.
I had
I
a
can
scare
multitask.
this morning looking at the TV, at the news, and it showed a guy spinning around in his Tahoe with a U-Haul trailer on the back, clipped a couple of firefighters in a truck,
Yeah.
and I says, "Oh, don't tell me it's ice already." And they said, "No, well, they were hydroplaning in Oklahoma." I says, "Oh, good."
No, that's good.
So I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay, we're up to the snowmobile trail proposed relocation discussion. Where Winter Wanders. Whoever wants to be the unlucky recipient of the microphone. Maybe Mr. Phillips.
My name is Mark Phillips. I'm the trail administrator for the Weare Winter Wanderers Snowmobile Club. And what we're proposing is a trail reroute on the old Buxton property and the Woods property. Got a map to show you here. The orange lines are current lines. And what we have is, this is all previous to me, I'm new this year as a trail administrator. And at the request of the landowner that bought the Buxton property, we were looking to reroute to get the trail away from the house, because when it was owned by the Buxtons, he was a founding member of the club, and the trail was fine. Since he's passed away and new people have owned it, she was having some trouble in the past, not so much with the trail or our riders, but with a neighbor riding on the trail. So what we've done is we looked to see how we can reroute the trail in the easiest way. So we've gone ahead and walked this section of trail. The blue line is the proposed trail, and the circle there is where we pick up the skidder trail, where they logged it this summer. So our impact on the trail is going to be minimal because it's already there. But since I found out is that we have to go before the Conservation Commission, because this now is a town forest and they have jurisdiction over the use of this, but we wanted to at least update the selectmen as to what we're doing. And to get their blessing that we can do this.
And I don't have a problem with this at all. And I think it's pretty clear in this picture that it gets it away from the new owners of Bucky's house.
Yeah.
And it gets it away from the field and out of the Bolton Memorial Park, and it seems like it alleviates a lot of potential problems moving it
does.
the way it does.
And the second waypoint there, that's the green gate.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're on the other side of the green gate, so that gate will stay closed.
Yeah.
So I think it'll alleviate a whole lot of problems and keep people off the fields. And the gate, which is at the ball field here at the, where the Buxton property and the ball field meet, that gate will also stay closed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to just update the selectmen to make sure that we're all good. And we're on the agenda for Conservation Commission
Okay.
on Wednesday.
I have no problem with it.
Good.
Oh, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. Like I said, I think it's gonna alleviate and be the best interest for everybody.
Well, we appreciate
Looks like
that.
it's gonna cut down a little bit of distance of trail to maintain, too.
Yeah.
It is a little bit. It is a little
Shortest
bit.
point between two, shortest
Yeah.
way between 2 points is a straight line. Well, it's not straight, but it's a lot shorter.
There's 2 extras there, so if you wanna keep
Yep,
them.
no,
Any questions?
I got no questions.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate it.
okay.
Like I said, there's a couple extras marked right there.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Before we go on the boring stuff, Chief, do you have anything you'd like to say? No?
You don't have anything else.
Not currently.
Okay. Can we get an update on our officers?
On officer, sure. Last I spoke with Paul was probably 3 or 4 days ago. He has had a meeting scheduled with the surgeon, but the surgeon had to cancel. I believe he went on some type of leave real quick. He had that rescheduled, but he's still expecting to go to surgery within the next few weeks. After that, looking at the length of recovery period. But, you know, with him, you can't wipe the smile off his face. He's a great asset to have for the department.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth with him. He's still interested in trying to do the website. I started looking at the one vendor got a lot of questions. I kind of had to put that on hold because of Kalia. So I'll get back to that because I want to really do some due diligence and make sure we're getting a good product once we can go to the website. And Blake actually came up with an idea on his own and started playing with it. I told him I'd play with it once we got through the Kalia inspection. So we're still looking at that, and I'm keeping in contact with Paul on that. He did make it into town for Old Home Day.
Right.
He had a lot of inquiries about citizens being concerned with him, so his roommate brought him into town, and he hung out for about an hour, so it was good to see him back then. So looking forward to get him back in the fold.
And our other officer?
Yep.
So Sergeant McGuire, so
Yeah.
he was just here tonight. He's working 4 days a week, doing a lot of admin tasks, but obviously he can't go back on the street yet, so he's doing well too.
Okay.
And I enjoy having admin sergeant.
Like I say, yeah, it takes a load off you, right?
A little bit. Different tasks, but
Yeah.
Probably it's not, I don't know, we may talk about it afterwards, but the question is he following some type of, seeing somebody?
Yes.
He's got a little PTSD going on, I noticed.
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, so yes.
Okay.
That's good.
Good.
I'm glad.
Yep.
Yeah, he has a good support system, so.
That's the big thing, that's what it needs right now, is a support system, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, moving to the boring stuff now. I mean,
Yeah.
finest things.
Yeah, you don't have anything else for us, right, Mark?
Yeah, no, they're all
You're
good.
all
Oh,
set?
they're all
Yeah.
good? Very good. All us. Hand it right over.
You don't have minutes.
Any of them? Huh?
I have them in my inbox, but I was gone till today, so
You're kind of killing me.
I am. Sorry.
Killing me, small.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just table that whole entire section.
I don't even have, do you have a manifest?
I do, as a matter of fact.
You have one?
I do.
I don't.
Well, the one that needs to read it off has it. And I hand it to
I'll
you.
take it once you're done.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. You usually do anyways. All right. Move to order the treasurer to sign accounts payable checks dated, including the following manifest. John Stark Regional of $250,000. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the August 26th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Payroll manifest is $64,623.54 for weekly and monthly payroll checks dated 9/5. Accounts payables manifest, $16,576.28, checks dated 9/5. In addition, there was a previously approved manifest for the newly purchased 10-wheeler authorized by the voters in the March town meeting for an amount of $127,821, check dated 8/29/19. As there is no selectmen's meeting scheduled for Monday, September 9th and the 16th, wow. Further order, treasurer signed payroll checks dated September 12th and 19th, 2019, estimated to be about $120,000. Further order, treasurer to sign up to the amount of $150,000 for accounts payables, including fire department accounts payables approved by the Board of Fire Wards that cannot wait until next scheduled meeting of September 23rd. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported in the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest memo at the next said meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Administrator's report.
All right, there's a couple things, when Benji was here, it dawned on me, an application for the inspection station appointment.
Oh, good.
Evidently, we need to do that, but the selectmen are the ones that need to make the appointments, or need to sign the documents, I would say.
Okay.
Or, I think Benji can do inspections, Tom and Jean Lemay.
Okay.
So, but only Benji and Tom can pick the stickers up at the state.
Yep.
And the three of them can do inspections. So they filled out the application and brought it here. The back page is allowed for one signature.
Yep, I see that. So I'm gonna make a motion that we allow the chairman of the Board of Selectmen to sign the application and inspection station appointment to the State of New Hampshire Department of Safety for Inspection Station 01734, which is the State Highway Garage.
Down.
For the town. No, the town highway garage, rather, not the State Highway Garage.
All in favor?
Aye.
Four?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. We did have one other gentleman purchase his property back. One we had recently just taken. And came in shortly after the ink was dry at the registry. But we got it all. So let's move on to, like I said, the buildings haven't really changed.
Before we get carried away with this, I just want to make a point.
Yes.
This discontinues us inspecting the police cars. Anything under 10,000.
It does include it?
No, it does not.
We don't,
We don't have a computer.
Right, so they're all heavy truck.
Yep.
okay,
And they've actually broken down the inspection
okay.
criteria now. It's you're either light and then you go for additional for heavy. So it only appears that it's heavy because all the mechanics that they signed said heavy truck number, heavy truck number, heavy truck number. So.
Is that a problem?
Well, it just says that we can't do light duty.
Yeah, because they don't have a computer anyway, right? I don't believe they have a
Right,
computer.
so that just means that anything under 10,000, 10 or 18,000 has to go to another authorized inspection station, that's
So
all.
what would they
10,000,
do?
yeah.
Would they have a light
Any,
vehicle?
Yeah.
Number two, maybe see if they have
Well,
one.
to get heavy, you have to go through light, so you should have to have it, but if you don't,
Right.
if we don't have the computer, we
No, they
can't do
don't
the
need a
OBD
compu-
testing.
I know they don't need to put the computer on a 3/4 ton or a 1-ton truck, so.
Anything over 8,800 pounds.
Yep.
You don't need
So-
it. But I'm just thinking, if we don't have the, yeah, see, it says auto, moto, heavy truck bus, school bus, and they all listed heavy truck, so. I'm not discrediting anything, or I'm just saying that
Yeah.
when we get inspection slips from our vendors, let it be known that, the highway can do the work, but they can't do the inspections.
Yep.
And I'd like to think that they could get it to a state inspectable
They should.
level. I'm sure they can.
At some point, maybe
But-
they can apply to get a computer down there and start doing it.
Well, there's a lot of maintenance that goes along with that, trust me, I know all too well. So, just wanted to,
So just note that it's,
yeah, that they're all,
Heavy trucks.
yep,
Heavy
it's heavy truck, right, anything over 8,800 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Which is basically everything except the cruisers and I think maybe Chief Azina's pickup.
No, that's a 3/4
And,
ton.
huh?
Benji's,
No, that's a 3/4 ton.
And so's the Chief's.
yeah, chief.
Chief's
Chiefs.
actually a 1 ton, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's either
So just
350 or
be the
250.
police cars and the ACO then. And building department, code enforcement, so
We have
half
to.
ton.
That's a half ton, yeah.
Yeah,
I had
so,
to think for a second.
like I said, it's not a huge thing, I just wanted to, I never knew that for sure, but I know that municipalities sometimes get the waiver, but, all right, where am I? There I am down here.
I'll start with the government building ones. As I said, I haven't done a whole lot. Today was my first day back, so I'll admit that. So what I'd like to just let you know that the town hall sign, when we left last time from Tom, we had a selected contractor that supplied me with references. So I called the references today, and one of them said he did a great job, great work, and they're happy with it. That was the town of New London. Then he also does, the Tamworth one was done 10+ years ago, so they were happy with him, but, I mean, I just kind of left that one alone. The Granite Hills, they said he was top quality, excellent. Every year, he does some signs for them. They're a very large property management group, and they've hired him for 10 years and not been at all disappointed. So with that being said, I will reach out to Mr. Roberge. You did make the motion last week, or 2 weeks ago. But it was gonna be contingent upon the references, but so before I called him back, I wanted to make sure you guys were still all set with using him. It appears that everybody was very happy with him. And just from looking at the signs that were on his website, it was very good work. The propane tank conversion, I'm still gonna solicit 2 more, because I have one number from one, and I'll still solicit 2 more to, for a possible warrant article we talked about. The air conditioner is the same thing. I think we need to look at maybe one project. We did kind of, I'd say we skated through the summer. We're probably on the home stretch now, even though there are days that you turn it on for a little while. The one thing that I will do when I ask them to come look at all of them is there is not one upstairs in the administrator's office. That room is extremely hot. The little room straight ahead used to be the secretary's office. So I don't know what they can do there or what we can't do there. Or maybe the answer is to get one of the portable ones that roll around the floor. It's a small room. I don't know what it costs. I know what the small ones cost. We have one, and actually I'm very happy with that. Because you can move it out of the way and it does a small amount. You really have to just put the window thing in for that much.
You don't have a heavy unit to lift and have through the window. Yeah.
So that may be just an option that, you know, make an alternative quote for an additional one, and then look at the cost of maybe looking at a roll-around one kind of a thing. You heard Benji's long list today. He's done a lot for other departments. The anticipation is that they can still do something out here come fall when they're closing in on waiting for the white stuff to hit. So,
I'll push the envelope.
maybe. I did have a gentleman stop in my office that had some very good quality carpentry work. He's done a lot of work for the town of Dunbarton. I never heard back from the other gentleman that was listed with a little clip out. I guess I thought he was gonna send me the quote that he was given. There was, and I'm being cryptic because for a purpose.
I believe he was.
I thought he
yeah,
was gonna
I
email
thought
me
that's what
his
was
quote.
said, yeah.
Yeah, and I've never heard from him. So, this other gentleman, I can also get some more information on to do some work in my office or wherever. And maybe I could get him to also provide me a quote for putting down the stuff on the Gordon Brown barns.
Question,
nice.
did you ever hear back from Correctional Industries, or the Corrections Department?
But I didn't pursue it
State.
much.
I was gonna say, because it's funny, because they were working down at the Seafood Festival to set that up. I saw the van down there with some people in it, so they were doing stuff for down there at Hampton.
It's always been my understanding that you had to get had to get in line way ahead of time.
I don't know, you call up, usually
Yeah.
they cater to the, you know.
Well, we used to have an inn,
Yeah, well, I'm not talking at the county, I'm talking about the state.
Yeah.
This was the state prison van was down there
Oh.
with inmates. They do road work. They're out picking trash, they're out cutting brush.
That's okay. They're doing good things.
So, I mean, if we can get them,
All right, I didn't pursue them a whole lot.
yeah, okay, well, I didn't know. When you said that, then I said, oh, yeah, I remembered seeing it yet, the van sitting there yesterday when I drove by it.
Okay. So, the town hall, I am gonna meet with, next week. The Walker and Company is gonna come back out, and I'm gonna go through the pictures.
Okay.
From the drone,
Mm-hmm.
show what we want, and see what we can get for prices.
Yep, sounds good.
As we know, we talked about it before, we've kinda reached our cap
Of course we have.
where we are. So we're just kind of getting numbers to ramp up for, we always have to have project listed and amounts and quotes, which is what we have to have for CIP if we go that route.
Yep.
So the next one, I did shorten this one a little bit. I took off the ACO. I also took off the whole SEDS thing, because it doesn't look like that's moving anywhere. The auction, as you know, is still scheduled for November 16th. CIP starts not next week, the following week on the 17th at 8:30. That will be on TV, so that anybody at home can watch as well. They're gonna be recording that, just like everything else. The Class 6 road discussion, I have not heard back from him.
I got some
He,
information
right,
on
but
that.
he, was gonna sit down and talk to Benji about what he needed out there, and then come back to us.
Which one, though, do you mean?
Sawyer Road one?
Oh, yeah, well, also, I was
You sure?
talking to Benji on, that's Renault on Sawyer Road.
Okay, so I heard you.
Yeah. I guess the president has been deposed up on East Shore Drive. There's supposed to be a new president. The guy who came in, I can't think of his name off the top.
Nathan Smith?
Yeah, he's no longer the president, according to what Benji told me, it's somebody else.
Oh.
So, I think he's still involved, but, so, yeah, I guess Benji's had some conversation.
All right, I'll ask Benji, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, he,
And then also, did you share, what I'll do is Jack got some information from Canaan
yes.
that he gave
I
to,
had spoken to you about
that he gave to the
Class 6
planning
roads.
board.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a kind of a checklist and a thing to follow,
It's a
which
whole
was really
packet.
very
Yeah.
good.
As
So
far
what I'll
regarding
do
class
is I'll
sixes.
scan it and send it to you guys so that you guys
Yep.
can see.
Okay.
It's gotta go to the planning board.
It's already at the
Very-
planning board, and, I think we're trying to get them to adopt it now, so I mean, we're gonna
Okay.
adopt
It kinda was a nice checklist and it was very,
So you don't
I'll
get
call it an easy
yeah, you
roadmap.
can't get if you wanna build, you gotta, this is the only way you get the permit, A,
Do
B,
A, B,
C,
C,
D, all the
and
way
D,
down.
yeah.
There's like 10 items on the list, and then there's a maintenance agreement that everybody's gonna sign, and you
Good.
gotta sign that.
So that's
you know,
kinda
well,
in
you
the
don't
progress,
get it.
but I haven't heard back from the Sawyer Road gentleman, and I didn't get to talk to Benji today.
Yeah, I know that, I forewarned Benji that he was coming to see him about culvert, and he said, well, he'd spoken to him before, but it was kinda like he didn't get it, and I go, well, he was told that this is what he's gonna do. He's gonna
Okay.
meet whatever requirements you put forth for the ditch around there and the culverts and that.
Our next meeting, as you saw, because it would have been next Monday, but I'm not here. And CIP, just I want to note that CIP is supposed to run its course for the next 4 Tuesdays after that. The intent is to do the 17th, 24th, 10/1, and be completed by 10/8. So Beth has got just about all of the budgets as far as wages, benefit packages in everybody's budget. And so basically what the department heads will need to do is put in their numbers for, I'll call it their supplies or their other needs, because Beth has always done the personnel part of it. So, we streamlined the budget process, that it's really,
Yeah,
it's really,
simplified.
Beth has taken the whole wages and benefits package, which takes that out of everybody else's worry. That includes a lot of lines, and if they only then take from their, I'll call it their supplies or their working stuff to do, it really leaves not a
consumables.
lot. So we'll work out a budget as far as process, meaning this week.
When does Finance Committee actually start?
Finance Committee actually met last night. There's 13 of them. They divided up as to the two schools in the town, and they're going to start to receive stuff as well. They kind of selected amongst themselves who was going to sit on what, largely because of CIP. So they'll be attending the CIP starting on the 17th. I think there's only a couple of them that can do that, just because it's in the morning. But yeah, they're not intending on meeting again until October 2nd, which is the first Wednesday. At 7 o'clock would be their next meeting. And I don't know, they've got to run their own course. They're going to try to stick at 7 o'clock and try to stick with the first Wednesday. They're going to start being included when we start to do it so they can attend our meetings and go from there. I think, there's a couple new members. We had some good rapport last year. There's a couple of new members this year, like there always is, because people get off. But, overall, they added Tom Downing and Gary Evans this year. The rest is still the same. I'm sorry, Matt Whitlock, too. Matt Whitlock is back. They elected positions. Lori's going to chair, Neil's going to vice chair, and Matt Whitlock's going to do secretary. So they had a lot of good discussion last night. I came. I think it'll be a good process because there's a lot of, there's 4. There was 4 extras that came as well. John Foss kind of said that they were alternates. I didn't know you had alternates, but they're going to just kind of sit and come to the meetings, and in case something happens, as life does, and someone might have to get off the board, then one of those kind of has been sitting here and can step in.
Yep.
So, but no, it was a very good meeting. As you noticed, the camera's been moved. The idea is to get more of this. I do know now that the podium got moved. I was trying to get the speaker, that's why. The podium's moved back quite a bit further.
Yeah,
Because then you'd get more of this,
yes.
which was the idea, to get everybody around the table on camera. I don't think I have any more to offer you this evening. That was a good conversation. I don't think we need any non-public.
Okay.
You don't need non-public, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he does need non-public.
Yes.
Okay, good. Correspondence, other business?
I got one thing.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's going back to her administrative report.
Yep.
Review of policy and procedures. That first one, they've both been there for what, almost a year?
Maybe 2.
I think it's time to get rid of them.
I think, was it you and I that had the discussion about, the first one, noise? Yeah. Because New Boston's in the middle of doing something right now.
Yeah, and they've just tabled it for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in
I was
agreement.
kind of watching.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
I thought we did the social media one.
Yeah, the
So we got-
social medias are, we've done
We've
that
already done it.
anyways, but the
Okay.
noise ordinance,
Right.
I don't think we
I
got
don't think
enough.
we need it. We can't do anything with the firearms.
No.
That's taken off by the state, so the rest of it is disturbance of the peace ordinance.
And I think it
State law
was,
takes care of it.
yeah, I think the public forum that we had, many moons ago now. I mean, there was a few that were in support of it, but I think that the majority that night were not in support of it.
Right.
Personally, myself. So no, I'm good with removing it.
Well, I mean, right now we've seen what we're trying to do is chase around things.
Yep.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm good with removing it.
I didn't follow that they had moved it. I was trying to follow it.
I've been trying to follow it, and it was in the last little paper that came out that they've tabled it for a year.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
they filled the
And
room.
basically, they feel, a lot of them felt that the state RSA's covered it.
Yeah.
It covers, yeah, it does, and I said that before, it covers a good part of it.
Right.
You know, and I know the complaint was, people shooting on Sundays. Well, I mean, okay, there's laws that cover that. You can't discharge a firearm within 300 feet of an occupied structure. So, I mean, there's that. You know, if you're shooting it at ODAC 30 in the morning and people are sleeping, well, that's disorderly conduct, like you said, the common phrase, disturbing the peace.
I don't know if did you get that that I sent you on the firearms?
No.
Because the town administrator in Auburn wrote, who the hell did he write to? Wrote to somebody. And he emphatically said that the state of New Hampshire is taking all regulations of firearms away from the towns. It's in the
this-
state hand.
There's a thing in the town and city talking about some of that.
Did that
And
for
it's got an RSA.
10 years
but
ago or so.
It's,
Well, I thought
look
that,
under RSA
I thought that talked about
15926.
taking it out of the public buildings.
Yeah, but that also refers to a lot of the RSA. So under RSA 159 covers firearms.
Yeah.
So if you look at some of that, it's changed
Took it
some
away
of
from the
it.
state, the towns.
There you go. Yeah.
So do you want to make a motion to move, to
I don't think we have to.
table
You
this?
really need a motion for that, do we?
I don't think we need a
Just
motion.
take it off?
Yeah, just
it
take it
off, yeah.
off.
Yeah, unless something comes back further down the road.
I just had a question. Where, are we setting something up for, the cane?
I didn't get a follow-up to my, I made a phone call.
Okay,
The family was supposed to have a discussion and get back to me.
okay.
Maureen's come up with a list if that one doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
because there was thought that, it may not.
Okay,
So I'll leave it at that, just to,
okay.
for now. But it's my understanding that number 2 is in the same condition.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. So, I will follow up with him tomorrow,
Okay.
because I think he's forgotten me.
And then just, to, the radios,
Yeah.
if we could just keep that on the agenda
Thank you.
here.
Yep.
Every week or whatever, or every time we meet, just so we can.
Can you forward us
Do
that,
something.
the contract again that we have with them?
With the current one?
Yes. You said that has no expiration date, correct? Okay.
No.
I think it's, for budget season, we need to start soliciting bids.
Yeah, and Chris and I tomorrow have a meeting in Goffstown for something else, but we also gotta get the fire chief, we talked about setting what we're gonna do.
Mhm.
Largely, I mean, we can sit here and pick apart what went wrong. Jack could tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you're gonna help down there.
Oh, no, and yeah,
And is it more, so it's kind of, to me, it's a combination.
The biggest one is the equipment, and the second one,
Is-
as the old adage goes, the nut behind the wheel. I mean, you could have the best equipment in the world, and if you don't have the right
But at
person
what
operating
expense do we have to wait?
Yeah.
well-
What value is human life? That's
Well-
the bottom line of it. And
Well, let me put it to you this way. Being a user of the radio system, it's 70-30, us, not that dispatch
No,
center.
I'm not
70
putting,
equipment,
70% is our equipment and 30%
I'm not,
is
and
Fair
I don't disagree with that. I mean, there's other,
and that might be even being a little bit stout.
I guess I'm gonna ask an odd question is, will we get to 100%?
It's going to take a lot of investment. It can be done.
Take a huge investment.
It
and
can be done.
The terrain is awful.
It can be done.
I mean, I look back,
Absolutely,
and
but if it's a $1 million price tag,
I look back
that's
at,
gonna be a tough thing.
I look
It is
back
gonna be a
at,
tough sell.
I look back at an era gone by. I hate to go back to like saying, oh, back in the old days, but back in a simpler time, when the dispatch was out of Goffstown, and it was the county dispatch also, they worked off the top of Mount Uncanooka and a repeater, and there were very few dead spots, but you're talking at a shot off the top of a mountain that overlooks everything. You know, you wanna go back to that, but to put that type of equipment here is a big expense.
I think we heard a number today that's scary, but.
Yeah, and I mean, so it can be done, but, like you said, at what expense? And the bottom line of it is, what expense you put on human life, whether it be
Yeah.
a victim, whether it be the first responders, and I mean, I include everybody as emergency personnel and first responders, police, fire, and DPW. Those are the guys that are out there, and it depends on the time of year. If you don't have the DPW out there and can't get a hold of them by radio, then the police and the fire aren't gonna get there, so I mean, it's one of those things that, everybody's gotta be able to talk.
Yep.
Is there
you
some
know-
way we can do hand in hand and maybe look into like a grant for some?
There's grants everywhere.
There are grants out there, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I know, but
and most of the fire radios and the previous radios the PD had were all bought in that Homeland Security grant.
Yeah, that all
Right,
came,
and we already did the inoperability programming.
yeah, we just did.
We just signed that. That's just a programming thing for what we have. But I mean, again, everything goes through Mine Hill behind Dimitri's. That's and 100 comes across via air from Goffstown to Mine Hill,
Yep.
and that's never an issue as far as strength and quality. It's always been. Well, there was one time when the mast broke off of Mine Hill and they couldn't get into it, but obviously that was our equipment.
Yeah. but
And the mast broke off, so you can't really, But again, they came and they fixed it. But just last night, I mean, I was listening to the PD, and also our fire radios. I mean, down in the South Weare Mobile Home Park, the dispatch center tried to check on the officer status 3 times, and there wasn't a click, there wasn't squelch, there was nothing at all. And then when finally we heard Sergeant Frisbee come across, it was, I'm good for the 3rd time. This is the 3rd time trying to tell you
Yep.
that I'm all set. And the fire radios, you couldn't understand them. So I mean, and we knew we know that's a dead area down there. We were going to put a voter down on Eleanor, but that has changed way, and we're trying to go on to the tower off of Norris, and that would cover a good section, hopefully. But again, I think it's I think it's a time for a new plan. I think it's time for new ideas, personally. And again, as a user of the system, I feel I'm a little more fortunate with the equipment that I personally own and utilize, because my rate of transmitting to 100 is probably about 95 to 100%. But again.
But that's out of your pocket.
But that's out of my pocket, and again, but I
it shouldn't have
listen.
to be.
I listen and I hear this all the time.
And it shouldn't have to be out of your pocket.
But I listen and I hear this all the time of not being able to get out, just squelch. I don't believe that digital is the answer. A lot of people think digital is the end-all be-all. It's not. But again, we need to do something. I think it's time to start soliciting plans. And I'm hoping that the plans that come forth are inclusive of the systems that we have, but I fear that they're not going to be. As far as, and I don't think it's, we can all buy new portables on the hips and new vehicle, and new vehicle and radios.
If you can't talk across the street, what good are they? They're a boat anchor.
But if you can't get to Mine Hill, it's the end of the story.
Right.
So I don't think it's the hard parts that we have floating in the vehicles and or on our hips. It's the rest of the system. So, simulcasting was brought up tonight, and I think that's really the answer that's out there. But again, it's a huge monetary investment, and it's a lot of technology. So no, I don't want to see it
we have
slip
our
away,
hands
though.
tied without getting a yes.
Right.
And
exactly.
at one point,
But if we don't put it out there, we're never going to get a yes or a no.
Yep, the thing is we've got to do something and start getting proactive and get somebody in here, some
Yeah.
contractor to come in here and start.
Well, I think we need
pitching it.
we need a couple. Again, we need quotes and evals of the system.
Yeah.
right, we need
Right.
like those, was it propagation studies or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, topo, propos, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, any other?
Yeah, no, it's true. I just,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a Band-Aid after Band-Aid after Band-Aid just
Yeah,
doesn't.
just doesn't
It isn't working
cut it
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and honestly, I remember the zoning ordinance, somebody comes in and you fix it here, but you didn't fix it here.
Mhm.
Right.
And you fix it over here, now this one pops up. It's
Well,
almost
it's
like
like,
patching a boat when the
it's
holes,
like,
you know?
we just went through with the sign ordinance. We had 2 separate sign ordinances, one that was passed way back when in the town, and then another one that the planning board put in, and now, one didn't negate the other one, and they
Right.
didn't eliminate them, so now
Right.
they're gone.
They're
And I know
compounded.
eventually we're gonna have to readdress that and come back with something, but, But yeah, I mean, when you had, everything was in conflict, it doesn't work either.
Yeah, because you can hire two different people and they'll have two different
And
ideas.
get 10 different, and get 10 different ideas, so, I mean.
But you gotta remember too, is we're a little unique. I mean, Chief Azina's come in before and said, well, capital area and as a dispatch center, and they have their own radio people, but that only covers fire, and we're gonna leave police and highway high to dry. So it's gotta be an all-inclusive vendor. It can't just be, one like that, so.
Which is what we did when we did the voter sites, and that was
Yep.
a small Band-Aid. But
Yep. Yep.
And then we electrified them, which
With
set
another,
of solar.
well, it wasn't.
So now, next step, you know what I mean, we just have to.
Is either-
Is, yeah,
do
What
something.
happens is though, even with cell towers, the canopy, the trees grow, the towers
right,
don't.
yeah. Oh, no,
So
absolutely.
That's
the
why they're
trees
up,
grow
that's
and the
why they're
leaves
up
are
a
out,
couple hundred
you
feet,
know.
you
Right.
know?
Blocking
But
it.
even after years,
Yep.
the trees grow.
Oh, yeah.
So
Exactly.
your
Yeah,
aim and
unless
your
you're,
signal doesn't
unless
come.
you're fortunate to sit on top of, like I said, Mount Uncanonic, where the trees don't go up that high as the towers, or you go
We'll go satellite. I don't
Mount
know if that's-
Kearsarge over in, in Warner. I mean, you can see the tower from
Yeah,
here.
no, I know.
Any of those places.
I don't know what the answer is, so.
No, you don't. But there's answers out there. We just gotta keep looking.
We're just gonna find one
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
that we can
Take it till we
afford.
find it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's gonna be a big monetary investment, so. Any other business correspondence? I've got 3 or 4, I don't even know.
I didn't get your answer on the knotweed.
Okay,
I don't think Joe was in today.
okay, I had an email from one of the vendors that supplied a bid for the knotweed contract, asking just for some clarification on the details. Doesn't sound like maybe that the quote was understood correctly, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Naomi's on it, Joe's gonna be on it, so it was just something that was forwarded to me alone, so I just wanted to bring the board up to speed on it.
Just gonna ask, so I did look back at the minutes when you
Yep.
brought forth, and there was the memo, the memo had the same amount for 3,
Treatments.
3 years, 3 treatments.
Yeah.
Where the other one had 3 different amounts, a bigger amount, smaller amount,
Mhm.
smaller amount. So I'm not sure, I don't have the actual quote, I just
Right.
have the memo.
Right,
Which I want to get my hands on the
Right.
quote, because it's my understanding in reading the email that the thought was it's 2 seasons,
right,
but 3 treatments.
right.
So
I
I'm
think
not
there's a
sure
discrepancy,
where the
yeah.
total comes from, which without seeing the
I thought
actual
it was,
bid,
yeah.
yeah.
But-
So that's kind of what I had the
Right.
memo,
And
and I was
the,
like.
and the
I didn't-
individual asked to have the minutes reflected correctly, but again, I'd like to get to the bottom of it
Yeah.
Right.
before we alter
Yeah.
any minutes,
Okay.
or add an amendment to them.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, I'm getting an email from East Shore Drive as well, regarding some DES investigation that went that went on with a neighbor. Sounds like it's been resolved. There was just a lack of communication on our side and DES's side by the sounds of it, and the taxpayer was just not impressed with the speed of communication. So, and I say that I think it was like over a year's time.
It's 2 years.
What was
isn't
it
it?
on?
If that's the one,
I
is
was,
that the one that we got the copy of the letter for?
no, I don't believe so. No,
DES
No.
one?
The one
yeah,
we gotta-
it was a septic system near the lake
Oh, no, I don't.
that was being inquired about. They spoke with the
Land use.
land use, and wanted to issue a complaint, didn't. Back and forth, receiving an email August 27th. So, but there was, yeah. And I brought it to Naomi's attention because there was some complaints about
Yeah,
one
and
of our
It wasn't
employees as well.
exactly,
Okay,
yeah,
it was, okay, so.
there's 2 sides to every coin.
Yep, there is, yeah, and I just want to bring
Yeah.
up, it was correspondence that came, there was another piece that came to, you sent it, never mind, about that inspection of the dam, that private dam,
Private dam on Clam
That's just
Road.
information.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
just
that's
information. It's
information.
really,
yeah, and,
And then I also sent you the timber
yep,
that's gonna be taking place on, what's that, Hopkins and Everett Dam?
yep,
Yep.
The kid from up north got that,
yep,
Cunningham.
yep, yep, Cunningham logging, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's it for now, I think, that's all I've got.
correspondence to the business anyways, right? Yep, maybe no. Is that C only, right? Graham? Okay. We're gonna discuss some CALIA, which involves personnel, unfortunately, so we're gonna go into non-public, and then after that, we will be adjourning. So I move to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, C. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and again, we'll be adjourning after we meet with Chief Moore.
Ladies, right?
Okay, sounds like a good idea.